Storms tore through Wisconsin last night, leaving a path of destruction in their wake.
A 1,200-mile corridor from Texas to Wisconsin is about to get hit by the worst severe weather outbreak the region has seen this year. More than 7 million people are now under the greatest risk of seeing baseball-sized hail. Supercell thunderstorms are expected to break through the atmosphere Friday evening and continue reloading all weekend. And buried in the forecast data is something meteorologists are warning about with language they rarely use: an increasing chance of strong to intense tornadoes in the heart of the Midwest on Monday afternoon. The Storm Prediction Center just issued a level 3 out of 5 severe risk for central Iowa, including Des Moines. That is the second highest threat designation they assign, and it is not the main hazard on Friday. The hail is 3-inch stones the size of baseballs are expected to rip through the region. That is not softball sized. That is not the size of golf balls. That is something that will penetrate car windows, shatter windshields, and destroy roofs in seconds. One supercell could cause tens of millions of dollars in damage to a single county. And they are not expecting one supercell. They are expecting dozens. But here is the detail that tells the real story. This is not a single storm system. It is a parade. The multi-day threat already began Thursday with wind gusts of 70 miles per hour tearing through the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Now the second wave is loading up. A third is consolidating behind it, and a fourth is already taking shape in the jet stream. There is atmospheric fuel everywhere. The entire corridor from the Gulf Coast to the Canadian border is primed for catastrophic weather, and meteorologists are warning that nobody is ready for the scale of what is coming. To understand what is happening, you have to understand what created the conditions. The atmospheric setup is nearly perfect for severe weather. A layer of warm, moist air is sitting low in the atmosphere. Above it, a much colder, drier layer. The atmosphere hates that configuration. It wants to mix. And when it does, the energy release is violent. A jet stream is also screaming overhead from the west, providing wind shear, the rotation that turns thunderstorms into supercells. The tornado season peak is in May. This is May, and this week all the ingredients lined up at once. The National Weather Service described Friday's threat in language that forecasters reserve for the most dangerous scenarios. An atmospheric cap sits over the region during the afternoon, suppressing storms. But by evening, the sun will have heated the ground enough that supercells will burst through that cap. And when they do, they will have fuel all the way up. Computer models are showing hail cores so intense that the hailstones are reaching the size of baseballs before they fall, and they are showing multiple supercells developing simultaneously across Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. The Level 3 risk zone covers central Iowa, home to Des Moines, a city of 215,000 people. The population of the entire Des Moines metro area is 650,000. Most of them are in that strike zone. A single 3-inch hailstone will crack a windshield. 2 or 3 in rapid succession will destroy it. Hail damage to vehicles alone could exceed hundreds of millions of dollars if this outbreak plays out as forecast. But vehicles are not the only concern. The threat expands beyond Friday. Saturday brings a similar pattern: spotty afternoon storms, then supercells consolidating by evening. And by Saturday night, the forecast shifts. Tornadoes move from an isolated threat to a primary concern. The Storm Prediction Center is now warning of an increasing chance of strong to intense tornadoes on Monday afternoon in central Kansas and northern Oklahoma. That is language they use when they believe there is genuine potential for violent tornadoes, EF3 and higher, the kind that can level neighborhoods. The Level 2 threat zone covers much of Nebraska and western and central Iowa. That is 3 million people. The Level 1 threat stretches across a 1,200-mile corridor from Wisconsin, through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and down into north and west central Texas. That is 7 million people in the path of significant severe weather risk. Here is what happened the last time a setup like this occurred. In May 2011, a similar atmospheric pattern triggered an outbreak that produced the deadliest tornado in the United States in 60 years. The Joplin, Missouri tornado killed 161 people and caused $2.2 billion in damage. The conditions this week are being compared to that setup by senior meteorologists at the National Weather Service. The difference this time is the forecast window. Meteorologists know it is coming. The warnings are being issued 4 to 5 days in advance. But that also means the anxiety is building. Every model run is confirming the threat. Every update is reinforcing the danger. And by Friday morning, when people wake up to that level 3 alert on their phones, they will have been watching this system develop since Thursday. The psychological toll of knowing a severe weather outbreak is coming is different than experiencing it by surprise. On the ground, the preparation is already beginning. Emergency managers across the Midwest are reviewing tornado shelter protocols. Insurance companies are bracing for a potentially catastrophic week for claims. The National Weather Service has called in extra meteorologists to staff the forecast offices through the weekend. Meteorologists in Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Des Moines are all on high alert. The forecast for hail damage alone could rival some of the most expensive weather events of the decade. A single severe weather day in 2022 cost the insurance industry $3.6 billion. That was mostly hail. This week could match or exceed that if all the supercells develop as expected. And that is before the tornado threat on Monday. The broader pattern is what makes meteorologists genuinely concerned. This is not an anomaly in an otherwise calm year. 2026 is tracking to be an exceptionally active year for severe weather and tornadoes. The earlier part of spring was already producing more tornado warnings than any comparable period in years. Now, as we enter the peak tornado season in May, the atmospheric setup is becoming more favorable for tornadoes, not less. The jet stream pattern is expected to remain active through at least next week, which means even if this outbreak ends Monday night, the atmosphere is primed to produce another significant severe weather event within days. There is no break in the pattern. There is no cool down. The warm season, severe weather season has officially arrived, and it is arriving with intensity. By Friday evening, the first supercells will begin developing over central Iowa. By midnight, the level 3 risk zone will be fully engaged. By Saturday, the storm reports will begin arriving. Damaged homes, overturned vehicles, flooded basements, power outages affecting hundreds of thousands. And by Monday, if the forecast holds, the tornado threat will take center stage. The National Weather Service is urging everyone in the corridor to prepare now. Have a tornado shelter identified. Have an emergency kit ready. Have a way to receive weather warnings. Meteorologists are not exaggerating the threat. They are communicating it with the gravity it deserves. A 1,200-mile stretch of America is about to get hit by a severe weather system that comes along once every few years. And everyone in its path needs to know that Friday and the days that follow are going to be consequential. The atmospheric engine is already spinning. The hail cores are already forming. The rotation is already beginning. And the supercells are coming. Not as a possibility, not as a forecast concern, but as a certainty. The question now is not whether the storms will develop. The question is how severe they will be and how many communities will feel their impact.